Hello, and welcome to the Rick Williams Show. I'm your host, Rick Williams, with my guest again, Rod Grimes. Hey, I'm glad to have you back. Thank you for coming back on the show again. We've been off the air for a minute, and the last time I was on the air, you was with me talking about your book, your first book, The Blue in Me.
That's right.
And I'm glad to have you back because I've heard that you are on book 2.
That's correct.
That's so great. That's so great. And how did things go with the first book?
Rick, thank you. It's a pleasure to be back here.
Thank you.
So book 1 is going very well. Been out doing book signings and touring with the book, and it's doing quite well. I'm very excited about the direction it's going.
That's good. That's good. And what inspired you to start book 2?
Well, if you recall, Rick, this is actually going to be a trilogy. Cool. So there will be a book 3.
Okay.
But book 2 should be releasing in the very near future. It's in final edit. Mm-hmm. So looking forward and excited to getting book 2 out.
Well, let me ask you, would you like to share with my audience what they can be looking forward to in book 2?
Absolutely. So my story is 40 years of policing in the city of Detroit. Mm-hmm. First 25 years, if you remember, was my time at Detroit Police Department.
DPD?
DPD.
Okay.
The second book is covering my first 10 years I spent at Detroit Public Schools Police Department.
Oh, wow.
And
I remember that.
Yeah.
You know, just for the audience to recognize so much service into law enforcement. Go ahead.
Right. And then book 3, coming down a little later, will cover my last 5 years when I was the chief of police in that department. So that will be the 40 years of policing in the city of Detroit.
So before you get into the book, these 3 books is almost like a movie? Is it a movie or is it a series? What do we look? What we got to look forward to?
So it's funny you should mention that, Rick. So after book 1 released and was out there and it was doing very well, mm-hmm. I have been approached by not 1, not 2, but 3 movie and TV producers.
Okay.
Looking to do something with the book, make it a movie or a TV series. So I'm having conversations about that. Still writing to get to the end of the line, to get through the trilogy. And then there's also something else on the horizon.
I heard here over at Rick TV network, I heard that you was on the same network that the Rick Williams Show is on now.
Yes. So I'm launching my show. Will start airing in February.
Whoa. You are really been doing it since the last time we was on the Rick Williams Show.
Absolutely. 2026 is taking off like a bolt of lightning.
Great.
And I'm just grabbing on and holding on for the ride. I know it's going to be exciting.
And tell us the other blessing that you have going on. At 102, you still have your mother?
I still have Mom.
Man, that is great. Are you going to put her on your show, my show? I'd like to have her.
Absolutely. She's definitely going to be coming on at least my show, and I would love to have her on your show as well.
We'll look forward to it because that's a lot of knowledge and experience that will be shared with our listeners and viewers.
That would be great.
But what I want to do, I want to turn it over to you. Mm-hmm. I want you to tell us about book 2. Mm-hmm. Tell us about the show.
Yes.
You share with us that you're looking at producers for your series or a movie. So right now, Rod, welcome to the Rick Williams Show. But for the last time you've been here and all the things that have happened over this last year, I'm interested in hearing it, and I want the viewers to hear too.
Absolutely. So as I said, Rick, book 2 is covering a 10-year period when I transitioned from Detroit Police Department over to Detroit Public Schools Police Department.
Okay.
A lot of people are not aware that Detroit Public Schools had their own certified police agency. Mm-hmm. So I moved in my career over to the school district. Felt the need that my experience my background, my skill set, allowed me an opportunity to make an impactful difference with our young people, our students. So made the transition to Detroit Public Schools, and spent 15 years inside of that department.
As you tell us about the years in the Detroit Public Schools and the years in DPD, Detroit Police Department, could you share with the audience the change from one covering the streets to covering the kids and the things that we hear in the news, what goes on in the schools, and being that y'all was our own agency that was responsible for all the schools in the city of Detroit, what was that like? What was the difference that you experienced from DPD to DPS?
Okay. So understanding that Detroit Public Schools is across the entire 143 square miles of the city of Detroit.
Okay.
So the DPS Police Department had police authority and jurisdiction across the entire city. So that meaning we had the same arrest power if needed anywhere in the city, just like a Detroit police officer.
Okay.
Our primary focus was the schools. However, if there was criminal activity or negative behavior that required police, we were able to take police action. So the community wasn't really aware of that. As time went on, I think they began to get a little more familiar with that. Police is police is police.
So when you explain that the same power as a Detroit police officer, DPS officers had the same, that educate the viewers and the listeners to knowing that, you know, the phrase, the street language, rent-a-cops. Mm-hmm. You guys were not just security guards. You weren't no rent-a-cop. You were certified police officers.
Yes.
And that makes a big difference in the ability what you have to do
Absolutely.
to keep the kids and the people safe in the school zones and throughout the city.
Absolutely. So love to share a quick story as it relates to that very comment you just made. So in, I believe it was 1997, when the whole idea of certifying the school district and allowing them to have their own police agency began that conversation. It wasn't until 2004 or 5 maybe where the district itself had its own police agency certified by MCOs, which is the certifying law enforcement agency in the state of Michigan. Legislation passed through. The governor signed it into law, granting Detroit Public Schools the only public K-12 district in the state of Michigan to have its own police agency.
I was going to ask that question, but continue on.
Yeah. So with that happening, there needed to be some education to the public. Now, I think a better job could have been done, but that's an opinion. The word slowly got out in the community, and I think it was more so through just watching and interacting with the community instead of more public service announcements and notifying. So, just a story. I'm working midnights, and people say, "Oh, you had midnights at school district? Why?" Well, our kids are in the school, obviously, during the day hours, but the schools need to be protected.
Correct.
24/7.
Vandalism and et cetera.
Vandalism, theft. And so, yeah, we had patrol units out on afternoon shift and midnight. So I'm out on midnights one particular night, and we're driving, me and my partner, and we're cruising, and we're over by Northwestern High School on the boulevard. Car pull up next to us, and we're in a fully marked police car. It says DPS police. Car pulls up next to us. It's some young people. Look over at us, right through the red light. My partner looks over at me. I look at him. I said, "They don't know. Let it go.
Okay.
Just let it go." Get to the next light. They're sitting there. We pull up next to them. They look over. They're laughing through the red light. Partner's really heated. I'm like, calm down, calm down. This is going to be a process. Community will learn. Get to the next light, pull up. We're in the right lane, they're in the left lane, and we're right there at I-96 Service Drive. Light turns green, and he goes from the left lane and cuts across in front of us to go onto the service drive, and almost caused an accident. That's it.
That changed.
It changed the game.
Changed the game.
We light them up. We pull them over. And, I walk up to the young man. I was like, so you thought it was a game. You thought it was funny. But now you involved in a traffic stop. Let's talk about your license, registration, and proof of insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had a driver's license, but he didn't have the registration or proof of insurance. The other three in the car kind of laughing and giggling. It's a little wet out, a little chilly. So we conduct this traffic stop, and you're not the real police. Okay, now we have to educate them on, yes, we are, and you just not aware, but yes, we are. So we give them the education, but you're getting a ticket for your driving. So writing the ticket, and out of the back window comes a McDonald's bag. Just threw it right out while we're right there, right in the ticket. Oh no. So you're showing no respect for your city, your community. You think, well, it could be the garbage dumping ground. Mm-hmm. And you even have the audacity to do it right in front of police.
So, with that story said, first thing, you in a marked car, let's say DPS, you didn't mention that you was around Northwestern High School, which indicate that you was in a school zone.
True.
Give you all the right to protect the zone, whether they thought you was the law or not.
Sure.
You have the right, is in the school zone. Mm-hmm. So when your partner let the two red lights go, mm-hmm. he had all probable cause to stop them because they ran a red light in a school zone.
Sure.
Whether it was after all, the school zone sign means school zone, period.
That's true.
He was given lenience, but he got to the third light where the disrespect came that could have caused an accident.
That's correct.
And the phrase of it I use all the time, it takes a minute to get in trouble, it takes a lifetime to get out of.
So true.
He was all set up for all the things that could go wrong. Littering, running two red lights, about to cause an accident, and you're driving with no registration, no insurance.
True.
That's all probable cause. Depends on who you are. You being nice, or I'm going to arrest you.
That's so true. Discretion. And a lot of discretion was used until there was none used. Yeah. So again, that's about educating the community.
Educating who you are.
What that police agency represented and their authority. So it took some time, but the community got there. Mm-hmm. So that first question, Rick, what was the difference in doing police work with the City of Detroit Police Department
Correct.
and the school district mm-hmm. police department? Quite frankly, there was very little difference. And I say that because our schools are in the community, mm-hmm. which the local police agency service. So you still have that same culture. It just come to school.
Just come to school. So it wasn't that much difference. It was just a different writing on the car.
Pretty much.
They took the last P and turned to the S.
That's right.
So much education you can learn with just simple questions mm-hmm. about how things is. And was DPS the first certified agency in the country or just in the state of Michigan?
First K-12 public school police agency in the state of Michigan. Across the nation, there's maybe 50 to 60 school districts that have their own police agency.
Okay. Is that what you say, explain to the audience and the listeners, is that the same as the universities? Do they have their own, or are they backed up by local, like in Michigan State or Wayne State University?
Yeah, so universities, they also have that jurisdiction to operate in the city or community in which they reside.
As police
As
officers?
police officers, some universities are certified departments. Some are PA 330, which is given police authority on property.
On property. Okay.
And it varies, even at the university level.
We appreciate that education on the difference between DPS and DPD and how different it is, where you can be in a school in the suburbs, and not just saying the suburbs, but you got officers riding around with their school district on there, but there's different certifications they have than what DPS had.
Yes.
That's very nice. We really appreciate that information here on my show, because it's educating the listeners to understand who have the right, and that way you won't have that incident. They won't have that incident.
Sure.
They won't have that incident as you had with that example you gave us with the kid running the red light. So that was so good. I know I maybe had to ask you to come back because there's so much to talk about. But before you get away, tell me about your show.
Okay. So after I wrote the book and got the first book out and going, the idea came to mind of, how do you share information in the community? There's a lot of information that people around town may not be aware of or don't have access to. So the thought was, well, why not have a show where you can bring on the professionals, bring on the chief of police, chief of the fire department, someone from the mental health community, psychologists, and you just name the list of services, financial planners, and just bring on those individuals who have that skill set, that professional background, and share with the community information that they may be looking for, not know where to get it. So yeah, that was the idea.
So what I want to share with the audience before we get off is your show is airing in February 2026.
Yes.
And we can find you on Rick TV Network,
Yes.
Roku,
That's correct.
YouTube,
Absolutely.
and Apple TV.
That's right.
Well, you there.
Oh, yes, sir.
You there. And it's so nice. But as you explained to me, the guests that you are participating, coming on your show, what is your target market that you are reaching out, as you said? But what could the audience look forward to getting from every episode or from each episode?
Sure. So, as you know, my background is law enforcement. Been at it nearly 50 years. So a lot of it, I will always maybe link the law enforcement component to it and how the law enforcement body works hand in hand with it. So I want to give those out there in the community that, for instance, financial literacy. So I want to tie education into it. We will have some individuals from school districts coming in. We want to educate not only our kids, but all the way up to adults. At whatever level, we want to meet them where they're at with knowledge. You're never too old to learn. So always want to try to find information that could be put out there for our viewing audience, that they can gravitate to and get a nugget here and there.
What I've learned today from your career, the education that you're sharing with the audience and the listeners about a little bit about how law enforcement is and the experience you had, but this is the second or third time you have been on the Rick Williams show, and I really appreciate it. Looking forward to when the book come out. Please come back and advertise the book. Show us what's going on. The first book was beautiful. Beautiful. Gave us your career as starting to as you left there and went over to DPS. But before we get out of here, when do you think that you're going to have Mom to come to your show? Because I want you to reach out so I can announce on the Rick Williams show that we want to hear from a 102-year-old lady that is still bowling and doing the things that Mama is doing.
Yes.
I hope the network allow you to make 2 parts out of it. She need time to talk. You can't do it in 30 minutes.
I agree.
You can't do it in 30 minutes. So please reach out to our producers or reach out to me and let me know so I can push that, hey, please watch. What's the name of your show?
Block. Sure. Block to block. Every voice matters.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I couldn't come up with a slogan. That's called a Rick Williams show. So I may reach anywhere from spiritual to what's happening in the streets every day. And we do see so much. Do you talk about, will you be talking about the things that we face in the world today from 1600 Pennsylvania to our own neighborhoods?
I would just get, it will be a very broad conversation, talking about whatever the community feel and want to talk about. My guests will come in, they will be the experts, and I would love to hear from their perspectives, how the world is changing, and the world is changing, and how do we navigate in the world as we see it today.
For nearly 50 years in law enforcement, and I know that what we speak about can change from before this era to now. What we've seen in Minnesota in law enforcement, have you ever seen that type of behavior? Not just Minnesota, but across the country. I think we knock on the doors of being in the same age group, so we have experienced and seen a lot in our time.
Sure.
But I never witnessed this type of behavior from law enforcement to the point that it's almost not even, I won't use the word safe, but it's almost not even mentioned I'm a cop or I'm a law officer, because all the hatred today towards officers. How would you elaborate on that for a minute?
So as we look at around the country and what's going on, not knowing and being inside of that agency to understand what their mandate is, it's hard to sit and judge. What I learned as a law enforcement officer, and certainly as a law enforcement leader, you never want to judge until you have all of the information. Now, with that being said, there's a lot that we see on the news and news clips that may not look right. I can't sit and judge on that without having all the details. It would not be fair for either side. And unfortunately, we have seen that from both sides, quick judgments. Law enforcement is a very, very difficult job to perform. And the laws can be so broad and they can be stretched so far on both sides that you have to really do a deep dive investigation to determine what is appropriate and what is not appropriate.
And I want to thank you for that information. And what better way to hear it is not from just a law officer, but a leader, a former chief of police that have over 40 plus years in law enforcement, that's sharing with you. Don't be quick to take judgment to what you see on television until you know both sides. I want to thank you for all your time, all you have dedicated to the city of Detroit, Detroit Public Schools, the love that you have to still help your mama, the beautiful book and book 2 coming out. Congratulations on your show that's coming up.
Thank you.
The congratulations in being approached by producers to start hopefully a movie or a series on your book, The Blue in Me. You are the blessings that God has put on your mother for 102 years has just sprinkled on down over you. It's beautiful to be still in one piece after serving those many years in law enforcement, and you still got everything operation. You don't drop your head because this happened, you did this, you did that. You're proud of your career, what you dedicate to law enforcement for over 40 years. You wrote a book about it. You've been approached for a movie, not a book. You're going to have 3 books coming out. Book 2 is coming. We're looking forward to it. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to stop back by the Rick Williams Show and to share what's going on in your life. So, Mr. Rob Grimes, we appreciate and we thank you for visiting the Rick Williams Show again. And to everyone out there, please go to Roku, Apple TV, YouTube, and the Rick TV network, and look for his show. I heard that the commercial is out there speaking about the show that's coming up, so look for it. Please subscribe to his show. Give him the support that he needs to keep on doing what he's doing. By subscribing to his show and the Rick Williams Show, you're showing your appreciation for all that he have done in this community. Thank you all for watching the Rick Williams Show, and we'll see you the next time. And Rod, thank you so much for being here.
Rick, thank you once again. It's always a pleasure coming on your show. And thank you to your viewing audience. You can always pick up the book, The Blue in Me. You can go to Amazon, or you can go to Barnes & Noble, The Blue in Me. And stay tuned. Book 2, it will be out shortly. It's entitled The Blue in Me, blank silhouettes. Look for it.
And with that being said, thank you again. And thank you all for watching. We see you the next time on the Rick Williams Show.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Rick Williams Show. Please join us every Monday for new episodes on Facebook, YouTube, Rick.tv, and the Rick TV app by way of Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Join us again next time on The Rick Williams Show. Until then, be blessed.